This is the Gentleman65 by J-Keys Design, a very interesting wood and acrylic keyboard that won't break the bank. This was sent to us by J-Keys for review, though that will not affect our opinion and statements in any way. First off, I really like the inclusion of the ribbon. Otherwise, packaging doesn't particularly stand out, with all parts simply bubble wrapped and stacked inside the latched box. This is a compact 65% layout with the exception of a missing nav cluster key in favor of a knob. It's a top mounted board, and combined with the wood and frosted acrylic case, I think it makes for a hopefully very deep sound profile that I'm quite excited to work with. There were two color options for the wood part, a lighter bamboo and a darker walnut, and the option between a hot swappable or solderable PCB. Neither have daughter boards, which is to be expected of this price range and mounting style. Today we have a walnut colored hot swap unit and both plate options to test today, brass and the included acrylic. And we have two knobs to look at, silver and black. There are a bunch of different knob colors coming out, and unfortunately we do not have these in, but from the photos, they look great. My box did not include screws, which were supposed to already be installed in the case assembly. However, the J-Keys staff and I kept close contact through Discord DMs, and the issue was resolved within the hour. Props to you guys for being on top of it. Good customer support is something that shouldn't be taken for granted in such a hobby. This is not an issue that will occur in retail boards. The first build we're doing is going to be Thocky, hopefully. For the first build, we're using Gateron Red Inks V2 in the acrylic plate, lubed with 205 grade 0 and filmed with desk keys. Already installed into the PCB are some C3 stabilizers. No particular reason as to why I'm using these, just had them lying around. These are lubed with 205 grade 0 and XHT BTZ only on the wires. Just to save time and memory card space, I've already done this off camera. By the way, this board uses some quite tiny screws, and if you're in the market for some screwdrivers, I would recommend picking up the Mako driver kit by iFixit. For 35 bucks, it's really high quality and has basically all the bits you'll be needing for your keyboard builds. And to top it off, we'll be using GMK white on black. Simple and elegant, and a good baseline for testing sound profiles. Since this is by far the most distinctive board I've ever had the pleasure of building, we'll do 6 configurations total, so we can not only see how the plate affects sound in this particular board, but also what to expect if you plan on picking up a Gentleman in the future. We're going to use Gateron Red Inks, Novel Keys Creams, and Alpacas, each in the brass and acrylic plate. Here's Red Inks in acrylic. This board has a very interesting sound profile. It's not as deep as I expected, and it's extremely muted, which I personally am a fan of. Thus, swapping to a brass plate didn't work wonders on an already muted sound. And now I understand why there were no foams included in the packaging. They're definitely not necessary. Let's take a look at the exterior. Upon picking it up, it's extremely light, and I would go as far as to say even lighter than an NK65, since it has no sort of sound dampening inside. It ultimately consists of a top wood piece, mid acrylic piece, and bottom acrylic piece, which contains the feet. The four corners are fairly significantly rounded, and the edges are not chamfered. Even though there are only 14 LEDs on the bottom, the lighting is diffused fairly well and is surprisingly bright. Personally, I think the walnut wood looks beautiful and don't regret choosing it over bamboo at all. The minimal keycaps and knob really help it pop out even more, and for the price, I think this is some serious aesthetic. Also worth noting is that the USB port is on the left, which I'm personally not used to. As for the design as a whole, I feel as if it can't decide between being elegant or playful. Honestly, for the price range, it's difficult to commit to either without making it more expensive. But in the end, the combination of elegant parts like the wood accents and knob, mixed with the playful parts like the acrylic and RGB underglow to create something that's very unique, which I can respect. However, in the future, I would like to see the feet design changed. The current design confused many, doesn't seem very effective, and doesn't prevent the board from being slid around. I think merging the feet and bottom piece into a single piece of acrylic and adding rubber pads on the bottom would fix all of these, while still maintaining the same aesthetic for round 2. The RGB can be configured in VIA, though my board initially had trouble being picked up by the software. With a board like this, I'd keep it on. Even though I'm not so enthusiastic towards RGB, it helps it pop out just that much more. And of course, the knob, which by default controls volume. It takes a little more effort than I expected to turn, and also clicks pretty heavily. So the Gentleman is again certainly an interesting board, providing a nice sound for a very reasonable price. Besides round 2, there's also a polycarbonate version and a limited edition, made of brass and ebony. Looking at the bigger picture, J Keys has some other projects to look forward to, equally as unique as the Gentleman, like the Nimbus 60 that utilizes a magnetic mounting system that suspends the plate within the case. Having experienced the Gentleman, I, and you as well, should be very excited for what is yet to come. Thanks for watching this episode of Near Lucid. If you like this video, drop a thumbs up. If you have feedback or questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. We'd be more than happy to answer. Also, these videos take lots of work, and by subscribing, you're letting us know that you want us to keep making them. And if you find my voice annoying, you can always unsubscribe. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys later.